Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to go over yesterday's and today's trades. Hopefully you guys had a good week. Second week of July has been okay. Not the best, could be better. Definitely missed opportunities, and we'll go over it and I'll show you where I may have been able to acquire more profit, and yeah, we'll go into it. So on Thursday we had AIRI. So AIRI popped up on the scanner. Oh, let's go to over here. We're going to go to stock quote. So it popped up on the scanner because they were awarded a 5.4 million contract yesterday, and 5.4 million is not too much of a big deal, honestly. Up to 100 million, anything closer to a billion is probably better. But still, this was still good news for this company, and the move does show it. It opened up at $3, 3.32, and then it ended up squeezing for a high of, let's see what the high of the day was. I don't think this did anything good after at the open, but there was a high of 581. So I took my initial trade. I saw this pop up on scanner. I took my initial trade around 411. So I got in around here, waited for a pullback, and I sold a little bit too early. So I sold around 553. So again, out 411, got out 453, and my total profit for that trade was actually $71. So not too bad for beginning of the morning, but had I held 20 more seconds, I would have been able to get a lot more profit. And honestly, the profit would have been a lot more. Since I got out 411, this squeezed over $5 to 529 or 540 for this high of, in the beginning, first 5 minutes, the high was 547. And I took 200 shares. So that easily could have been $200. So I was shy of the goal. And this is the thing, when you've had a couple losses, you just want to get your base hit. You don't really want to overstay your welcome. And it's a hard idea to kind of grasp. You want to take the risk to, take more profit, but then you're just kind of scared because your previous days are just lower your confidence. So I honestly, I'm okay. But the next trade is a BTCT. So BTCT popped up on the scanner yesterday as well. And now things have been going up because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been going up. So a lot of these Bitcoin mining companies or stuff that is involved in crypto, usually it moves along when Bitcoin is going up. So with BTCT, I took, started at 380 and got out 376. So I was okay with this loss. I really thought this was going to make a big move, but it didn't. You can see here, July 10th. There's not really that much volume. I saw it pop up on the scanner. So I got in for this pop, and then it kind of fell down, and I just sold. I took my discipline. I felt disciplined. I was like, all right, I'm not going to hold. Because if I kept holding, then, it just goes down further and further, and then boom, you're stuck. And you see all these dots and all that. It just very inconsistent. So that's how the volume is not there. And I thought I was anticipating a breakout. Look, I'm not seeing any of this. So in the morning it's just like this, and I'm like, okay, things are probably gonna get started, and then possibly, and then nope, it just flushes down. So you have to confirm the volume. I was trying to anticipate a breakout just because I knew Bitcoin's been going up. I took the loss, so it's fine. We're gonna take our loss. Today's trades, GAUZ. So today was a bit frustrating. Wow, I left. This is always going to happen. You're always going to. I was holding this stock for a while, and I'm going to explain why I was holding it. So the news headline comes out saying that CEO insiders, they buy a bunch of shares on 560,000. Those are insider purchases, and then the CEO and then the co-founder is over 200,000 shares. That's a lot of freaking money, So I'm like, okay, I got in around let's see, 740, yeah, 760. So I'm getting pretty high, and I'm holding throughout this whole period. I'm like, why is this not going? This is good news. There were periods of it popping up quite a lot. There was these spikes up, and then it would flush down. And I was down more than 10 cents, so I was not being disciplined in that part. But I was like, there's no way, because it would constantly have a large inflow of bid orders, immediately sell off, and then just go back and forth. And I'm like, I'm not sure. So of course, once it starts going up, I get it out for a profit of mere $6, because I think on this way up, I think this would be the last spike. I was already risking this, trade by a lot, and of course, the moment I get out, it starts going up higher and higher, and I'm fuming. I'm like, wow, I could have had $200 day, and it would have been great, but this is what I get for holding. So don't always think that's gonna go the way. I got lucky. This couldn't have. This might not have been able to do that. This could have flushed $2, and I would have been down $200. So I looked at it that way. I held my squishy bear, and I was like, all right, let's get through this. It's okay. Just take deep breaths. Don't get angry. Don't trade with emotion. You let the emotion control you, you're fucked. So it is what it is. I was like, I'm glad I just got out to be green. It's not always going to be like that. BCTX. So BCTX last traded today, and there was really good momentum on the stock other days. So just because you've done good on the stock before, it's going to make you feel confident when trading that stock again. But sometimes it's not always going to be the case. So they also put out more news regarding cancer, but this time it was breast cancer. I believe the news yesterday was lung metastasis in breast cancer. Okay, it honestly was the same headline. It's similar cancer. Yeah, breast cancer is the topic. So you think that would be, just because you see breast cancer, you think that maybe it would have some good volatility, some good news, but no, not really. And so I got in at 219. I was able to take 200 shares. So I took 200 shares worth, right? So I got entry position right here, 219. Let's see what time it was. The time was 4:34 in the morning. So we'll see when it popped up. So right here, it popped up, and then I waited for a pull down. So around this area is where I pretty much try to get in. And let's see. Okay, here's what happened. I set my stop loss at 215. So I did want 10-cent stop loss, right? 2-to-1, 20-cent gain, 10-cent loss. But something I wanted to start practicing or start doing actually is getting the habit is, okay, setting the candle wick as my stop loss. Ross does this, and I think it could be a good strategy because to me this is indicating that, okay, this is a reversal, so it's going to pop up and potentially squeeze up higher. And I was hoping for here. This to me was not really a top signal. This to me, when I see this candle pattern, when it's going up and if there's volume, and it just refreshed. Not sure why I did that. All right, but whatever. 10-second chart. Yeah, I'm anticipating that's going to break out because to me there's not that much weakness here. But if there's no volume, it's not going to get there. So that's what it was lacking. It was lacking the volume. Things were there. 4 out of the 5 criteria was there, and it just was not. And, why was I trading this? Well, I mean, I've done good on the stock before, except this week I didn't. So this is the second time I didn't do good on the stock. So I'm like, and I took the decision and risk to do it, and I got out for a loss. $10. Honestly, that's good. I'm okay with taking a loss $10. I set my stop loss right exactly where I wanted to, and that's exactly how it should be. Imagine, look, a stop loss was right here. I was like, I'm out. Could I have held? Yeah, I could have kept holding for hoping for like a chance to recover, like GAUZ recovered, or that was just lucky, but this was not lucky. And look at this. For the rest of the day, I would have been down. I would have been down by a lot more. So this is evidence of taking your loss. Sometimes you got to take it up the ass for the day and just call it a week. And on the week, man, I mean, I'm up only $6, but it's all right. Even if I end up break even this week, no, I can't do that. I'm not gonna end up break even. I'm gonna end up profitable this week. Why? Because I said I was going to be profitable every month since I started becoming profitable. So no, I'm not going to get into that habit. So we still have time. We have 2 full weeks and 4 days of July. I'm not really worried. I just have to be careful. So on the scanner, what went up? Well, INKT went up, but that was a pretty pricey. That was $24. I could have traded it, yeah, but I wouldn't be able to take the size I normally want to take. SGN was also up. If you guys were seeing on the scanners, SGN was up, but to me it was just too extended, and I have a bit of an issue when it comes to like extended pulls or extended stocks. So like right over here, it popped up at let's see, this was like 3:30 in the morning for me, and by the time 4 a.m. hits around, it's already at its peak. Like I'm not gonna get much upside from here. I could, but I'm taking a risk, and it dips. And goes up for a gain. Yeah, that's good gain at 60 cents. But you're already missing majority of the move. You want to capture this part of the move, this maybe continuation, this ad, but right here, as soon as it starts to get extended, it's like, I'm not sure. That's why you gotta look at the 1 minute chart and 5 minute, see where things stand from a bigger perspective, because that's gonna tell a lot more than just 10 seconds. Really, it's good to flip between the two and then kind of get an idea like, okay, this went up, the trend was hot, pretty strong, pretty hot for like the first 10 minutes, and then boom, it just died. So that SGN, I was watching that. Let's see. There really wasn't much other stocks that I was watching. Yeah. Well, next week we'll see what is in store. So the last 2 weeks have been really heavily crypto related. But just be careful with the crypto stuff. You never know. Not all stocks are going to go up because it has some sort of tie or stake into Bitcoin. Just be careful and, yeah, just manage your risk. I think the best thing I did this week was managing my risk yesterday and today. Even though I was not the best winner, I was a better loser. And that's something that Ross always says. You got to learn how to be a good loser. I don't know if it's tilted. Oh, I guess it's been like that. But you got to learn how to be a good loser. And I was a good loser because I didn't lose $200. All of these right here, this could have been 200. I'd been down 600 potentially. This could have been another 200. So this is being a good loser. And maybe this one could have got out a little bit sooner, but it is what it is. We're gonna end the week like this. I'm not mad. Better than last week, that's for sure. And I just can't wait to get back into Monday. So I'm pretty excited for Monday. And yeah, we're gonna do this. I still have time. So hopefully you guys found this helpful, and comment if you have any questions. I really appreciate you guys' comments. I really appreciate it. Yeah, take care. Have a good rest of your week. Peace.